on this.
Everybody's got it. Okay.
So should I still introduce myself, maybe reintroduce myself?
Yeah, why
Okay.
don't you just give a little, whatever you would like for the group to know about you, and maybe you could talk a little bit about your answer, since we did answers last time. You're familiar with everybody else's. So go ahead.
Sounds good. Yeah. Hi, my name's Liz. My last name Zhang, just like John, but flat. And it's okay if you, it's hard to get it. I went through the basic training with PTI in 2019. Then, similar to you guys, jumped right in, just couldn't get enough of it. Um, Took some advanced classes with Deb Kennard, then jumped right into the consultation program in 2000. So the first year of the pandemic was marked by my certification 10 months. It was a tremendous growth, both personally and professionally. Um, and now I came back this year to start the consultant in training process, which means observing and assisting in basic trainings, and also be part of this consultation group as an apprentice. Linda is my consultant to make sure I'm getting this right, and then move on to be able to consult, run consultation groups. So that's where I'm at. Uh, and it just happened. You guys were the first basic training. I was there observing. And I'm so glad you are just this passion and this drive to want to continue to learn and to develop yourself and also heal yourself on a deeper level and bring this model to your clients with deeper understanding and more skills. So I yeah, I'm very excited when I saw the video. Uh, I'm from I'm originally from China, moved to the U.S. In 2013, so 9 years. Um, I live in Michigan, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Right now, I used to work at the county's community mental health, working with kids and parents. Then last year, I left the county, started private practice. I joined the group practice, we call it the safe, calm place, and loving the private practice, being able to provide the kind of clinical work that's best to the standard, and not having to be confined so much by a lot of the rules and protocols by the agency, and just do what's right for the clients and family systems. So I often see both the teenager and a parent, or even a young adult a parent, and this all works out. This model is the best um, model I have encountered and I have been using and see also receiving wonderful outcomes. So that's about my practice, a little bit about my answers.
Wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
So, who wants to take a stab at what one of Liz's answers might be?
Mm. I don't know that I was really getting an answer, but I was noticing that how passionate you were, and also something that stood out to me was that you have your private practice, so you don't have to deal with all of the, what was it that you called it? I was thinking, I don't know if she's a rule follower, was what I was saying.
Exactly. It's like she's not a rule follower. She likes to have that.
I was
That's
kind of
awesome.
wondering too if she's really a doer.
Yeah.
Like she's going to get stuff done and make it happen,
Right?
and whatever she does, she's going to try to do it the very best that she can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Are we anywhere near the mark?
You guys are just so great. This is this is the practice. It's not about like yes, the answer questionnaire and these
Right.
worksheets, they help you to get started, but really the answer is we live and breathe the answer.
Yeah.
After you get used to it in all the consultation meetings, everyone is
Right.
offering, oh, I'm noticing this, that's probably my answer, and I'm just welcoming it.
Yes. Yeah, our answer always shows up to help us. I mean, it can be a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like me, just the a few minutes of introduction, I'm showing you my answer. Every client comes in, the client is going to show you. The client is going to do whatever they do the best in their lives. What is adaptive? Yeah, so spot on. I'm a doer. Um, I'm very, I get excited. I'm very passionate. I can be very persistent, um, and I can get things done and clear up whatever obstacles I can get there.
So keep it
I'm
in
good at.
urgency. You are the person we want. Yeah,
um,
that's great. That's so the one thing that possibly might be a challenge um, is to welcome mistakes. And one of the things we talked about last time in our group was that mistakes are required. We welcome them in. We want to be open to them. We want to look at our videos and our work and say, here's what I wish I'd done differently, and here's what I'm really challenged by. And to just be able to have that level of safety in our group, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And another area is underdeveloped for me, even with all this work, when I'm really under stress, when I'm some life happens, I'm tipped over my balance, I can be a loner. I can go without noticing what other people are needing, or I can just feel frustrated. Why is not everybody on the same page with me? I'm the one doing, right? And resentment can build up. And I'm
Yeah.
becoming better at noticing and aware.
What's the matter with you people? I'm on stage 4 and you're sitting on stage 1.
Yes, exactly. When we work with our clients, and almost all the time, if we feel stuck or take a step back and notice, is my answer here? And that could be mine.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Liz. Thanks.
Maybe
Anybody have any questions for Liz at all? Or before she's going to help us with a little moment of mindfulness this morning to get us started.
can
Sounds
I
great.
say one more thing about my past
Sure.
excitement? Yeah, it helped me when growing up from a in a little town out of nowhere in China. Stand out, keep grasping onto opportunities, give it all I had, and keep um, just acing through my school and career. Yet right now, I'm living my dream life, and this can still get in the way of just being present. There's always opportunities. There's always wonderful things to learn or to do, or yet is it okay to just notice the excitement and okay, I'll take my time, get there when I get there, and enjoy my life with my family and be present in this moment. So that's some new, relatively fresh revelation about my answer, layers and layers of my answer. I'll just, yeah, and my answer that we'll get more probably um, as we continue this process.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I don't have any questions for Liz. I'm just excited to have you, Liz. Thanks for being here and working with us. I love the passion and excitement that I'm feeling from you, and it gets me excited. So
Yes, and thank you, Liz. I appreciate your vulnerability in expressing your answers and your excitement and recognizing where they may get in the way sometimes. So appreciate that.
Noticing that Clover and Erica have two overachiever doers as their consultants. So we can try not to trip over each other. In fact, Liz will be taking the lead for, not, we're going to work together, but, kind of going to be allowing her to do her thing, which she's more than capable of. So, yeah.
Yeah,
So, hey,
it'll be
if you
fun.
like overachievers and doers, this is going to be a great group.
Our answers will be dancing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be chasing them around the room. Yeah. Oh.
When it happens, and yeah, just notice. Uh, oh, all
Well, let's
right.
go ahead and yeah, go ahead, Liz. Why don't you lead us
Yeah,
in a moment of present moment mindfulness?
sounds good. Just um, when you are ready, I just would like to invite you to, yeah, find a comfortable position in your seat. If you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes and just notice your breath. Take a moment to find wherever your breath is most noticeable, whether it's through your nostrils or it's the rise and fall of your belly or your chest. This is not a breathing exercise, just notice that your body knows how to breathe. And all you are doing is, this is how breathing is felt. Follow the flow. Be with your breath, natural breath, for a moment. After a few minutes of excitement and chatting, allow your attention to settle down, tune inward to be with your breath. Now, with this same awareness from noticing your breathing, I'd like to invite you to notice if there's any thoughts, feelings, feeling tones that's arising about this meeting, about today in this particular group. Thoughts, feeling tones, even body sensations. And as you are noticing, I invite you to be curious. Are any of these thoughts, feelings, sensations familiar? Do they feel like a pattern when you show up in a group or a new or meeting? And as you become curious, I also invite you to notice if there's anything different from the pattern, if you noticed a pattern. I mean, today's meeting, this particular group, anything, any information is telling you this is different from the long running pattern. There might be, there might not be. It's all about noticing and be aware. In a moment, I'm going to say some words. I'm going to say twice. I invite you to notice whatever ways these words land in you, in your system. All parts of you are welcome here. All parts of you are welcome here. Just notice. You can open your eyes, gradually open your eyes and come back when you're ready. Take your time.
Thank
Any
you
moments
for
to
that.
check in? How was it like for you?
That was amazing. I felt my breathing go deeper as we were going through it. Like my breathing just got deeper and slower and just allowed me to relax. Thank you, Liz.
Yes, thank you, Liz. And I was noticing, it was interesting to notice patterns and things that may be different for me here in this room. Well, on Zoom. And it was helpful for me to kind of process that, okay, that's coming up for me, but it's more personal, and so that it's not really about the situation. So anyway, that was interesting for me to notice.
Thank you.
And my answer showed up really quickly. And like, okay, how are we going to get through everything we need to get through today? And then this part of me that is always helpful with my answer showed up. First of all, I noticed my answer, then I noticed the pattern, and then this other part came in and said, relax and let go. And then I was like, oh yeah. I'm right. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. This is what we're supposed to be doing, and yeah. So little taskmaster's always kind of sitting there. It's all good. It's all good. So,
I, of course, noticed some arousal, excitement. I'm even keeping my fan on because I knew this was going to happen. That's the pattern. And I'm also noticing I feel open, I feel not tense, and I'm ready to welcome all parts of me, even the parts that um, sometimes I don't feel particularly proud of, and it's okay.
okay. So, um, we're gonna spend time. Last time we talked about kind of what we're gonna do during our sessions. Um, being curious, welcoming our mistakes, our answers. We want to take a look at our videos. You guys got transcripts, right?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, I don't know. Things maybe have changed a little bit with Zoom. For some reason, I had to double click on the three dots, which I've never had to before. I mean, I had to go three dots and then down to open transcript, and I had to double click on it, and then all of a sudden it popped to the side.
Okay.
So you know where those three dots are on
Yeah.
your screen, and
So,
your transcript won't show up right away. It can take a
okay.
while.
Okay. That's
Hmm.
probably
Okay.
where I went wrong because I saw the three dots and I
Right,
clicked on them, but then all it said was report.
right. Yep.
Mhm.
Which
Okay.
means your transcript is still
Pro.
generating.
Oh.
And it can take a few hours or it might take a day.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
So just check back, and check back. And I just double clicked on it. It was there. I copied it, put it into a Word document. Remember, I'm a doer.
And thank you for helping.
I try not to get in the way. Sometimes my helping can get in the way. So, but since it was our first time, and I also wanted to review your work, and one of the great ways to review work is the transcript because you can clearly watch the protocol unfolding. You can then go to a part in the video that you're interested in. And for you, it's helpful for you to come up with those timestamps so that
Right.
when you show Liz and I, here's the area I thought I did well in, right?
Mhm.
Those
Mhm.
kind of three things. So,
Okay.
so who would like to go first with their transcript?
Well, I I don't know. Do you want to go first, Clover?
Sure, I can go first.
We can do paper, rock, scissors.
Yes. So, would you like me to just go ahead and give you the timestamp and what I felt I did well?
So, are you able to share your screen?
Yes.
Okay, so let's bring your video up,
Okay.
share your screen, And then tell us a little bit about that place that you thought you did well, and let's look at a piece of that.
Okay. Let me go back to the video. Maybe it'd be easier if I just find it on.
I've got the video up for you. Do you want me to?
Oh, that would be great. Because I don't see my video now unless I pull it up on YouTube.
It'll work best if you pull it up on your YouTube channel.
Oh, on the YouTube? Okay.
Yep. And then just share your screen.
Okay. Let me pull it up here. Okay. So share screen.
You share your screen. There's going to be a little box at the bottom that says share sound. Make sure that's checked.
Okay. Can you all see the screen okay?
Yep.
Okay. So first of all, what I did well, it starts on 53. And we'll go ahead and listen to it, and then I'll tell you what I felt I did well. So Erica, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of the adversity that I've been able to overcome in life, and to come from a place of not loving myself to a place of loving myself and having that confidence and not having external things have to validate me.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. So that's self-validation rather than the external
Right.
validation. Okay.
Of course, the external validation is always great and important on some things, right? But like,
Right.
as far as my innate and my happiness goes, like,
Right. Okay,
that
great.
work. Yeah.
Great. Love that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it. So it's been a challenge for me to not jump in and validate or explore. And as soon as she mentioned the adversity, I wanted to just dive right in. And so for me to pull back the reins and just summarize what I heard and make sure that I understood it and then move on was really challenging for me. So that was like a personal accomplishment right there, to just be able to summarize and then move on.
So really, really nice noticing, Clover. Really nice noticing. Yeah. And for most of us, that is a challenge when we are first working with this model, is to change from a cognitive behavioral thinking, reflecting, asking questions, to just noticing the patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. All right. What I felt I could have done differently, it's my answer. My answer totally popped up. And it's, I have 11:51.
I was really good at going with the flow, but then as I've gotten older and I've been more independent, I've been able to develop being good at making things happen.
Good. So. Okay, that's good. Maybe this is a good one that I can ask Linda, because what was coming to my mind was the comment you made about following the rules. Oh, are you there? Come back. So that's where we lost our internet connection and Erica froze. But I was glad it happened in that moment, because I was going through the questions and just noticing the patterns. And then it was that spot where I realized, wait, am I getting this right? I need to talk to Linda. Like that was my answer showing up of, wait, and I totally jumped out of my therapist chair to, wait, I got to get this right. So I was glad that the internet was being wonky and that Erica froze so that we could just come back to it and jump back into the therapist mode.
So, how would you have liked to have done that, Clover?
I think what I would have liked is just to notice that, but to keep rolling, just keep going with it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
instead of diving into my answer.
Yeah, I think that's such great noticing because you know how with the 5 C's, we're just kind of catching it when we're doing the answer. We're like, oh, I wonder if that's part of her answer. Or I wonder if we're just kind of being curious and we aren't yet there, this pressure we put on ourselves to figure it all out. Did I get it right? So I just love the fact that you could say, yep, here's where my answer showed up. Yeah, yeah, really nice.
And can I jump in here? Clover, when you notice that, I don't know, I'm getting it right, or what happens in you? What do you notice in you?
I notice I go right up to my head. Like I'm no longer feeling or being present with Erica. It's now I'm back in my head of, I've got to fix this. I've got to fix this. And it feels more panicky. It's like, oh, wait, I've got to fix this. So yes, that's what I noticed. I noticed I went straight to my head instead of being present.
Great awareness. It might still happen, and it's okay as you become more familiar. Oh, it's just coming up. I become so good at fixing my own problems and getting things right, and just notice and quickly come back and, oh, this model, it's really, I noticed when I work with clients when I guessed it wrong, totally off, or just have no clue, could be here or could be there, and they started sharing more. Or they started correcting me and they started showing me more about their answers.
Oh, I like that. Thank you. And then as far as the questions or what I found challenging, for me, it was more about the logistics. I didn't know how to do the transcript. I felt like I think what was challenging, I think Eric and I sat there trying to figure out how to get a transcript for a good 30 minutes. We were just trying to figure out how to do this. We were ready to like type in the subtitles. Like we were like, do we need to just type up everything that we're saying?
Sorry.
Oh man, that's so true. We were gonna make it work.
Yes, we're gonna make it work.
The hell with YouTube. We're gonna make this happen.
Forget being patient with the process.
You remind me of hours I spent on my videos when I started the consultation group correcting. I'm so self-conscious when I make English as second language, making mistakes, and the transcript couldn't capture it, and I went in and corrected everything. Hours and hours.
Love that.
Love it.
Yes. Was there anything else you wanted to see? Should I stop?
I just wondered overall how this assignment went for you, how this experience, how it went for you.
Yeah. So Liz, something that we talked about in the first was that Eric and I know each other. So we've been friends. We've worked at the same clinic before. And then we've been joining each other on trainings. And so anyway, so doing this experience with Erica has been really helpful for me because I already feel that safety with her. And so just being able to do this together has been safe. And also it's been challenging at the same time for me to not go into the friend mode, but stay in the therapist mode and, be able to go through that process together. So, yeah.
Really staying in the present moment.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Really nice. Thanks, Clover.
Thank you. And thanks for the feedback. Thank you.
All right. Are you ready for me? Okay. Let's see if I'm ready for you. Just 1 second. Hi. Okay. Now I need to share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. I'm going to make it bigger. Okay. So now I've just got to make sure I know which one is active and which one's the video. Here we go. Okay. So I have to giggle because I almost want to say ditto from Clover because a lot of our answers, they're very similar, I feel like, because I definitely want to get it right. And I noticed something that I feel like I did well, at least I've improved on since the last time, was not validating her, like going embellishing. So in 19, I think it is. But then it's also, I feel my answer coming up because even in this, because I still wonder if I did it right. So let's see. Okay, had to work on that, yeah. Good. How convincing are you?
I would say, I don't know. I wouldn't say that I'm convincing. Again, I'd probably just say that I'm more collaborative. I like sharing and exploring.
Okay. What are you likely to do when someone tells you no?
I respect that.
Okay. So something I also noticed is instead of like, I guess my question is when we're not validating, but still trying to be present and engaging, what's an appropriate way to respond, I guess? Because I noticed myself feeling a little disingenuous or like,
Interesting.
at least that's how I was feeling, noticing in myself.
So when you notice that, what do you notice in your body?
I just noticed it was very uncomfortable because I'm so used to validating and feeling that connection. I guess I'm not and then when I have that going on in my mind, I'm not as present because I'm worried about getting it right.
Yeah, I noticed I asked you about your body and you really focused on your
Focusing on my head, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So I guess as far as my body goes, I wasn't noticing my body. It's just very in my head.
So how long have you been doing this?
Not long. This is all very new.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that there, I don't know if this is true. You would know this better than I would, but there almost feels like there's this expectation like I should, yeah, I mean, I'm feeling disconnected and I want to be connected and I don't know if I'm doing it right. And
Uh-huh.
it's all brand new.
Right.
And I'm wondering if I don't know if this is a part of you that you have a hard time welcoming in, like all parts of you are welcome, even this part that, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Because it's like, I want to be in control. I want to know everything's going good. I want to, like, yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you noticing, Liz?
I'm also curious as you described not validating and just saying, okay, you were feeling uncomfortable, almost um, cutting off from connection or something. What's the, as you're noticing that, what's the worst fear going through your mind or your body?
Hmm. That's a good question. I guess the fear of them feeling dismissed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder if this is something familiar. You you are very good at validating and almost leaning towards and
Right.
reaching out, holding on to so that other people feel connected or so you feel other people um, are being reassured about this connection.
Right. I think that's very accurate. Yeah.
Now, with that fear being here, I want to shift to asking to ask what was the like for Clover on the receiving
Yeah.
end?
What was it like for you, Clover?
That's such a good question because I really was just fine. I wasn't feeling disconnected at all.
Okay, well that's good to know. And I think it's so interesting that's it's what's going on for me, right? It's so that I feel safe and secure. That's so interesting. Yeah.
It's not uncommon. We became therapists for a reason. We're good at connecting. We're good lending a hand. We're good at holding. And it's not necessarily true that if we if we don't these things going through our mind, it's not necessarily true. It could be
Right.
some stories our past.
Oh yeah. I think that's a lot of past stuff coming up for me. And then so overcompensating to want to give this blanket, this hug to the person that I'm caring for. Just want to overdo it sometimes. So,
I also wonder if it's I know for me when I was working in the trauma field, it was a very different approach where the nonviolent approach is really honoring and noticing that the client does the healing
mm,
and
mm,
that we really are holding the space.
right,
And so if we're holding the space, we're holding the space.
right,
We aren't blanketing the client, trying to make it better for the client, trying to help them not feel bad, which is so
right.
um, typically what a lot of therapy is trying to help people feel better. But in trauma work, we hold the space and we just try to stay out of the way, you know, so the client can heal because the client holds that capacity to heal.
Right. I like that. That's such a good reminder
Yeah.
that,
What I noticed when you were doing this was what a nice job you were doing staying out of the way. You know, Clover is going through this. She's, yeah, Clover was experiencing this and she's answering the questions for herself.
yeah,
And then you were doing such a nice job of, and so what do you do when you're upset? And, you know,
yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate you noticing that because I felt like that was an area that I was fighting with, but I
yeah,
was really trying to go against it, and to overcome that.
yeah,
And so I
yeah,
think,
notice that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you for validating me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so something that I noticed, I'm going back now. This is one thing I wish this is when I started to really recognize, oh wow, I really want to get it right because I reach you'll see that I reach for just my notebook so I can write down the answer. What do you get the most? And so that's the part I was like, oh man, I need to just be present with her. And really, I heard Linda's voice of like, we want to get to a point without, just noticing what's going on with our client. I remember that and I was like, oh, whoops. I can definitely work on being more present and just noticing what's coming up for Clover and noticing patterns.
I wonder what would be helpful for you.
Hmm. I think I just need to learn to welcome that I might not get it right and that it's okay, but that my client has the answer and will tell me the answer if I just start to notice.
Mhm. So you can shuffle your papers and go offline in your own mind, and everything else is gonna find its way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think trusting that
Mhm.
is going to be, can be a challenge, but it's going to be helpful.
So what's in my head is like, oh, so I don't have to be perfect.
Right?
It's like welcoming that part of you in because wanting to do things well is a great answer. It really is helpful so many ways.
Right.
And then for most of us, our answers, there's a part of them that are overdeveloped
Oh,
and
yeah.
they kind of get in our way. And it's like being able to say, let that answer be there and notice it and say, yeah, there it is.
There it is. Here
Okay.
we are.
All right. Well,
Yeah. And I definitely appreciate this exercise and recognizing these things because as we're talking, I'm just like, oh, yeah, I see this come up all the time and it gets in my way. Yeah. Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Nice noticing.
Thank you.
Any other questions that you have about your video or?
I think as far as questions go, the thing that really stood out to me is I think we kind of addressed it, but just that I was wondering what's a better way to respond? Is the okay or is that because I'm like, well, that's still kind of validating, but not, right? And so there it is, trying to be my perfectionism and my wanting to get it right coming back up.
Sure. Yeah.
But
Go ahead, Liz.
Well, like a lot of times in this meeting, Linda and I just nodding and just, yeah,
Okay.
we
Yeah.
don't have to add too much.
Oh,
And
I
you are getting, you are, as you are reflecting on it, you are hearing your own answers and you're working it through. So
right.
exactly, that's totally fine. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Or straight to the next question. If mm, yeah, or a brief pause. The client is still thinking.
Mhm.
That's all totally fine. Just whatever that moment calls for.
Okay.
And if it so calls for, the client is getting activated, it does need you a little bit help to stay on track, validating a very brief validation, or oh, it has to be hard or something. You know it. You've been
Okay.
practicing this, and your system will know.
Okay. I like that. Thank you.
And you notice this difference when your answer is coming up. You are here. You are really with the client. Even
Right.
if you add a few words, you are still here, just
Mhm.
holding space for everything.
Right.
So that's the experiment. What's the experiential part? We know when we are here, present, holding space.
Right. Right. I love that. I'm going to really practice being present and holding space.
I wonder too if it's helpful to give a preface to the client, like when you're talking about EMDR, because I know that a lot of my clients have been through therapy before and they're used to that feedback. They're used to that validation, that talk therapy. And so something that can be helpful is just setting that expectation with the client. Because I've noticed that when I go through these questions with my clients, they'll look for that. They'll give an answer and then they'll look for that validation. So just being able to give that preface can be helpful of, I'm just holding that space and I'm just going to go through this script and allow you to process and allow your body and mind to heal in the way that it needs to, right? But just giving that preface can be helpful.
Yeah. I think something that made, oh, sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Getting some feedback. So, um, but something that I'm noticing is, or remembering is, there are times where I'm in that space and I tell my client, you're the one with the answer, and so if I can remember that keep that in mind, I guess, more often.
Passion.
Oh, what was that, Linda?
That listen.
Self-compassion.
Mhm.
Whenever you're learning something new, so just have some self-compassion. Um, if you're still struggling with this 5 years from now, well, then maybe we got a little issue. So, right now it's like, yeah, you're just exactly where you're supposed to be. It's like, oh, is it 5 years yet? Nope, not yet. So, yep, I'm still gonna want to tune in, and I'm gonna struggle to hold space sometimes, and you know, and the more you do this, I was like Liz when I got trained. It was just like every client that came into my office, I did the answer with, whether we were ever going to do full reprocessing or whatever. It was like, this is going to be so helpful for me. And because it's about the process, it's not about the content. I mean, there's clues there in the content, but the process of what am I noticing in my body,
Yes.
and what is happening in the room right now, where I can get to a point where I go, I'm feeling just a lot of tension in my body. I wonder what you're noticing. Like here we are right in this room together, and can we just be present and notice the process of what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we are at the hour. And so when we get around this time, whatever it is, seems like we're at a good point. We could take a 5-minute break. Everybody do whatever they need to do. And then when we come back, we're going to do case consultation.
Okay.
Okay? See
I'll
you
pause
in
the
5.
video. Yeah, recording. Let's see. I loved visiting Arizona, but I'm glad I'm back.
Really? Oh, I'm such a desert dweller. I just love Arizona. What part of Arizona were you in?
We went to Tucson. I have a cousin there.
Uh huh.
Visited the Saguaro National Park.
Oh,
Gigantic,
yes.
majestic saguaros.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I ride my horse through them all the time. Way out in the desert, riding through the swirls. Yeah,
Oh, that sounds amazing.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
We also drove up to Mount Lemon.
Uh huh.
Beautiful and then much cooler.
Yeah, I love the warmth. Like I'm outside right now. I live outside. It's just been, the mornings are beautiful. You know, the mid afternoon gets a little warm, but then I go, yeah, do something else. Yeah, love it.
I see you are a cactus.
Yeah, I am a cactus. Yeah, you know, I probably drink more water than a cactus, but okay, alrighty. So, most of the time, Liz and I are going to come into these sessions, and you guys are going to lead and decide who goes first. And we're going to encourage you to bring a short moment of mindfulness and do that to begin with. And we're going to be holding the space and being assisting in whatever is going to be most helpful for you. So, whoever wants to take off with their case consult. I don't think I didn't check this morning, but I don't think I got any forms.
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, go. I think I sent you one this morning, Linda.
All right. I probably just didn't get into before because we started at 7 a.m. my time. So,
Oh, bless you.
I mean, I'm an overachiever, but not that much where I have to. It's just kind of helpful sometimes to be able to follow along and the reason. Oh yeah, I've got yours, Clover. The reason we do this um, is because it keeps us within the framework that EMDRIA. We're demonstrating competence in all 8 phases of EMDR, and this case consult form really helps us kind of focus on the phases and our answer and the work that we're doing. So when you're presenting your case, it can be really helpful if you present it within that format. It doesn't have to be verbatim, but yeah. And they use that, I think they're still using it in training, in the basic training. Did you guys do case consult?
Mhm.
Okay. I've modified it a little bit for my groups, but
So I apologize. I didn't finish mine. I
okay.
started it, but I wasn't quite sure if it was in the context of the last session or this session or the session with Clover and I.
Okay. Good questions. So, your case consult is on a case you're currently working on, not with your
Okay.
partner.
Okay.
And so for today, Erica, feel free to just bring up the consult form and
Okay.
pick a case,
Okay.
and we'll just you can just kind of walk through it in regards to your thoughts about that.
Great.
Yeah.
Erica, I'm so glad you asked that, because when I filled out the form, I did it for you and I, Erica, for when we were finding the answer. So I didn't know that it was supposed to, yeah, it's good to know.
Okay.
It's great. So
So yep. Um, the it's always in the details. Stuff is always in the details, and it's good for me to reflect on that. Appreciate it, and so I give you whatever you need to do today that's going to be helpful for your growth and learning. One of the reasons that I encourage my consultees to bring in their current cases is because for some people it's the only place they have to do it with the safe model.
Right.
And if you do it on your partner every time, it gets very redundant because it's
Right.
like the same answer, the same, So I like to use current cases.
Okay.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. And when you become a consultant, you might want to do it differently. If you become a consultant, or Liz might want to do it differently when she's, independent. When I went through it, we did it on each other. And, part of my answer is avoiding boredom.
Get busy.
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm a stimulation seeker. I don't like to be bored. And so if I'm going to do consultation, we're going to use real cases so that we get to be doing something that is currently in our clinical practice that, you know, for me is more interesting.
I love that you say that because I'm noticing I think I do that sometimes with my clients.
Yeah. Yeah. Transparency.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
if this is your time, go ahead and use it as you can, and then Liz and I will hold the space and um, answer questions, give our input, whatever's going to
Okay.
be good.
Okay.
Erica, do you have a preference? Who goes first?
Well, I do have a case in mind that I have questions on that have come up for me.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have a couple. Um, so you're okay if I go ahead with that? Okay. So I have, let's see, let's go with, okay. So let's see. So we talk about the phase that I went in.
Yeah, just go right down that form and
Okay.
give us your thoughts. Like
Okay.
what phases have you done, and how are you
Okay.
looking at this from
Great.
an AIP model?
Okay. So I have been working with this individual, is a young man. We've done the history taking, the preparation phase, the assessment phase, and we got into the desensitization phase and the reprocessing. However, I have noticed that we've been in the reprocessing phase for a couple of sessions with the same thing, and I'm feeling like we're a bit stuck, perhaps. I mean, I feel like it shifts a little bit, but not a ton. And so I'm noticing that perhaps his, I don't know if it would be his answer getting in the way, or if we need to do a resource to help him feel safer, or I'm just noticing that, and maybe I'm feeling like there's a block.
How are you conceptualizing the case, Erica?
So, what exactly do you mean by that?
Okay. So this is like, for me, this is probably one of the most important, or one of the some of the most important pieces of how we look at the case.
Okay.
When we look at adaptive information processing, AIP model, it's like, what information was not adaptively processed for this person due to the events in their life?
Okay.
Okay. So let me give you myself as an example. When I was growing up, I had a person in my life who treated me poorly. And what I learned is I am in danger.
Right.
And so I began to adapt to that information and become very independent and very self sufficient and very strong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I can be very big. I can get really big when I feel unsafe.
Right.
So when I went through my own treatment and my own reprocessing, I had to learn that I am safe.
Right.
I was still holding that information today of I'm not safe. And so sometimes I would get overly big or overly independent or overachieve
Right.
in order to feel safe or connected.
Right.
So I think there's those three areas that it's like, what's the missing experience in this person's life? Is it
Right.
feeling safe or
Mm-hmm.
connected or a
Mm-hmm.
sense of empowerment? For me, it was all three.
Right.
So when you look at his information that he has given you,
Mm-hmm.
how do you conceptualize that history taking?
Right. Okay. Thank you. Definitely. So his relationship with parents has been unsafe.
Yeah.
And so he's found empowerment by becoming independent,
Hmm.
making decisions on his own, leaving his family of origin at a fairly young age to go make a life for himself.
And why did he come into therapy with you?
Because he's feeling that anxiety,
He's feeling unsafe.
unsafe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. You see the connection?
Mm-hmm.
And so being anxious, possibly is one of his answers. Because
Mm-hmm.
if he's hyper vigilant about things,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the ways he tries to feel more safe.
Right.
Right?
And as I'm thinking about this, that's the main thing that we've been containing at the end of sessions is
Mhm.
fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
his answer.
Okay.
That's not the problem.
Right. Right.
The anxiety is his answer.
Mm-hmm.
The, here you're up in the trees, remember? The trees are floating and the anxiety is all in the leaves of the trees.
Right.
And then you get down into the trunk and you
Mm-hmm.
have how that gets in his way, but then deep in the roots
Mm-hmm.
is this intense fear
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
and feeling unsafe and not having a sense of empowerment, um, and connection. Because when you're really independent, you disconnect from other people.
Right.
So when we
Right.
look at that case consultation sheet, and each month we're looking at how do you conceptualize this case from an AIP model?
Okay. Okay. So that's when they say AMP model, it's when we're looking at the empowerment, safety, and connection piece.
Yeah. What
Okay.
was it? What was it that was not that that was, at that point it made sense that he didn't feel safe, but it's not adaptively processed now because he's still feeling it in a whole different environment.
Right. And something that I found interesting too, now that we're talking about this, one of the things he did give me an answer in this phrase. He was saying, I have I didn't like to go to other offices. I feel comfortable with this office because it feels more like home environment.
Okay.
And so then he was starting to feel, I feel a little safer here.
Yeah. Yeah. And what we try to do is hold the environment in a safe way.
Right. So maybe I can check in with his safety and connection, and seeing how we can maybe build that a little bit more.
So you're trying to do something.
I am.
I love it.
I tell this to my clients all the time.
How can I be more productive? Let's see. Let's work on your safety and your connection, because then I think it's
Then we'll break through this. We'll get past this. We'll get this done.
and notice what he's saying to you is
Yeah.
you're holding a safe environment. So maybe there isn't anything for you to do with that, but hold that nice safe
Right.
environment and
Just
follow the protocol. It's so hard for us. It is so hard.
no, it's so true.
So how do you see your answer showing
Oh,
up?
coming up right now. I want to fix it. I want to get it done. I want to do it right. We must not be doing it right because they're not moving fast enough.
We're stuck. So I gotta be doing something different.
I'm gonna change this up.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say is that it's okay to be in that phase for a while.
Well, yeah, let's think about that. So when we're reprocessing a memory and it seems like it's not moving, the first thing is, what's my definition of movement? Is there any movement downward?
There it
Is
is.
there anything from like a 7 to a 6 during the session? Um, is it going up? Is it, so that's one
Yeah.
of the things that
Okay.
we look at.
Okay.
Other things that can get in the way of a memory clearing is that it's not the touchstone. There's something underneath it
Okay.
that we can just get curious about. And so when you do phase 8, any other memories that came up? Did you notice, what'd you notice in between session? Any other memories that were associated or anything earlier that came to your awareness?
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah. Can definitely do that.
So there's a lot of things we love it when we're doing phase 4 and it just goes all the way down and we get
Right? It's so rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes there's blocking beliefs, like this could never be a 0. It's just too disturbing. It could never. And that the difference between, we have a foot in the present and a foot in the past. And the question is, when you think about that memory now, on that scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no disturbance and 10 being the most, how disturbing does it feel right now? And, well, what would be the difference between a 3 and a 0? I wonder what the difference would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for you, what's the most challenging part of this case?
My answer getting in the way,
Okay.
I think, is what's going on for me. Is I'm wanting to go faster and not being present and just allowing him to be where he's at.
And what are you noticing in your body right now as you talk?
My shoulders are a little tense. Like, kind of like that Okay, I'll try to hold back, but I kind of,
Yeah.
so as I'm noticing that, I'm like, oh, okay, I can relax. I'm doing my part, and I don't have to do any more than that.
All parts of you are welcome, even your tense shoulders. Just notice them
Okay.
and get curious about whether there's a resource that would be helpful for you when you notice your shoulders tensing.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe doing a little pendulation, noticing both parts, and it's okay for both of them to be there, and they're welcome.
Yeah, there's two nervous systems in that room. So just notice that.
Yeah.
And I find that if I can work on regulating my nervous system, then I can help with co regulation. It just kind of happens with my clients.
Right. They match you as you regulate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens the next time you do reprocess.
Yeah. I think it'll be good for me to take a moment beforehand to just regulate myself and see if that alone can help him feel more at ease.
So whatever shows up then is okay, right? Yeah,
Right.
so
Right. This is so good. It's so hard.
I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but I kind of felt, Erica, like your system started here with this case, and then it just gradually came down, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can sense that too. Mm-hmm.
nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
And I would also like to invite you uh, to maybe be curious about this tense shoulders and this answer. How was it adaptive? And since now you're partnering with a wonderful therapist, Clover, advantage of that. Yeah, how you become so good at going fast. Yeah,
Yeah.
what's underneath that? What is the longing? Going fast was trying to get for you, but it's only a solution out of no solution. It was not the best solution,
Right.
really.
Right. Mm.
So next, you will, yeah, take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the question is what's under that? What's the longing? Well, I've always found my place in my family unit to be the helper. And so I got really good at that, to be seen and connected with my world. And so I think that's going to definitely show up in my work because I'm helping or wanting to be the helper, right? And the comforter. And I want to get there fast because I don't want them to hurt.
So if you are stuck, like you said, I feel like we're stuck, and I need to do something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see how
Mm-hmm.
that is in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because if you're not helping and he's not moving forward, then
Then I must be doing something wrong. Mm-hmm.
self-compassion.
Right. It is. I need to practice what I preach.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a That's a timeless truth.
Right. Oh, I'm always bringing up self-compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is hard. It's hard
it
work.
is. It is.
And yeah, but most of us been working hard our whole lives. And sometimes this work might be hard, but it has this potential for this transformation that is like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Well, I think even as a therapist, like we go through these programs to be more self-aware and mindful. And I feel like EMDR and this practice, what we're doing here, it takes it to a whole new level,
yeah.
right? I just am like, oh wow, okay. So it's such an opportunity for my personal growth and
Hmm.
development.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just a moment ago, when you were saying that growing up, I was the helper in my family, oh, I was like image of a little girl that even though she was so little, she had to just take on more responsibility, caring for others or picking up all the balls about to drop. And I wonder, how, like, was there moments that nobody picking up the balls and what balls actually dropped and how badly she felt? Then she had to become better and better at taking care of all the other people's balls and business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Thank you, Liz. You're gonna make me cry. Yeah, it's very tender and lonely
Hmm.
and scary and disconnected.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
don't have to work so hard.
right.
It's okay to play.
Thanks. I've always had a hard time playing.
Yeah.
Those are the missing experience. As a little girl, you were entitled, you were supposed to just be a kid and play. And if some of the, most of the, were supposed to be taken care of by other people. Yeah. Oh, so good. The healing starts from here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was
Clover.
beautiful. I'm noticing I'm just basking in it. I'm just like, this is beautiful. Um, yes, I did send in a case consult, but I would much rather talk about one of my current clients. So let's do that. So the client that I'm thinking of, he has a history with feeling unsafe with his parents, but also longing for that connection. And he's been dealing a lot with those beliefs that he's not enough or feeling that he's worthless. But the way that he copes, the way that he adapts is by going invisible. He wants to become small and invisible. He doesn't want to be seen, and that way he can keep himself safe. So as we started doing EMDR, we went through the history taking, the preparation, the assessment, and we started reprocessing. And as we were reprocessing, we had a target memory from when he was 3. And the SUD was at a 3. But as we were going through it, the SUD was becoming higher. He's becoming more anxious about it. And we ended the session with the container exercise, and he was able to feel more calm at the end of the session. But I did find my own answer popping up very similar to if the SUD's going up, does that mean that I'm doing something wrong? Because usually it's supposed to go down. So I didn't know if that was if there was a blocking belief that was coming in, or if there was another earlier memory that I needed to find. But I very much started going into the fix it mode of what do I need to do so that we can get movement in the other direction. So anyway, I'm open to any input.
Great. I've got a message now that I'm going to take the lead on this consult. Oops. Come back. How does this sound now? Okay. Yeah. Clover, as you describe this case, what was like, what's the client's answer in this case?
The client's answer, and again, this is my answer showing up. I don't know if this is the right answer, but for my client, it's that going invisible. That's his answer. He wants to become small. And unless you're seeing something different, but that's what I'm noticing with my client.
As you go into reprocessing, I wonder, I'm noticing I'm going blank right now.
I'm glad we can go blank together, Liz. That's great.
As I realized that you didn't share the client's answer and I didn't. I was probably absent or somehow. Okay.
Liz, can you share with the group what happened between you and I
Yeah.
before Clover started talking?
Yeah. Linda shot me a message, private message. You take lead on this consult. And okay.
And
I
what did
think
you
that
notice?
also, yeah, just a moment of, oh, I need to step up. And of course, some of my answers wanting to jump in and do it right is showing up. And as I started asking, I'm recognizing this all hyped up. I'm not quite present anymore.
Yeah, let's just send some love to that part of you. Let's just welcome that in. All parts of you are welcome. Yeah.
Oh, this is so good to have this space for every
Yeah.
every shades and shadows or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Now I can
So,
come back.
yeah. What would be helpful?
Um, I think I'm good. Just that moment of noticing and
Yeah.
welcoming
Yeah. Yeah.
and
So
recognizing.
maybe we can just let Clover kind of present her case. And then we can all just kind of notice what we notice. And if there's any clarifying information we need or any metaphors that come up, yeah. Would that be okay? Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So you've got that case consult form, Clover. Just take us through this case.
Okay. I just also want to say that I'm noticing just this warmth. Like I just feel this compassion. And Liz, for you to share your answer with me, it helped me feel more open. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your answer so that I could more clearly see my answer and how our answers were coming together of both wanting to get it right. So yes, this case, I'm very open to any input because I really do want to help my client and I do want to get it right. That's my answer. But yes, this client, so we've gone through all the stages. We're in the reprocessing. And for the SUD to go up this is a first for me, that the SUD is actually going up. Usually the SUD goes down. So that's where my answer started coming in of, am I doing something wrong? Is there another target memory? Is there something earlier? And, or is there a blocking belief? Like I'm going into my fix it mode of trying to figure out how to get that SUD back down. I do know that for my client, he goes, because of his history of not feeling safe and not feeling that connection, he goes invisible. And the way that looks is he goes very quiet. He goes inward. He doesn't want to talk a lot. And he also isolates himself. So, in his day-to-day, he'll isolate himself from his family if he doesn't feel safe, or even from friends, and he'll generalize it. He just wants to become very small so that he doesn't feel that rejection. So he struggles a lot with that, not feeling like he's enough, and also struggles with feelings of worthlessness because he hasn't felt safe with his own parents. He's been in a very abusive situation growing up. So
he shuts down, Clover.
Yes, yeah.
And what's happening when you're reprocessing?
When we're reprocessing, he's actually letting me know what's coming up for him. He's actually letting me know what he notices. So that's good. At least he feels safe with me. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he shuts down initially and gives you a 3, and then he gets really activated, and then you start seeing the disturbance, which is exactly what you want to be seeing. Is you want to be allowing that disturbance to be in the room as big as it needs to be.
Okay.
And I'll often say that to my client. Yeah, just let that be here, however big it needs to be. Yeah.
I love that. It's just embracing it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's the process of reprocessing, is tap in to the disturbance and then let it do what it needs to do to heal. And it needs to be, as you want all of the disturbance to come up and be present so that it can be reprocessed more adaptively.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. I didn't even think about the 3 that he gave me initially as his way of shutting down, but that just feels true. That just feels true. So being able to let him really embrace that and develop and have that space. Okay, that feels very true to me.
So what I love about this example, and this is something that anytime my answer started coming up, I had to check, because 9 times out of 10, the client and I were chasing our answers around the room. So his answer comes up, he gives you a 3, and then he starts to reprocess, and then your answer comes up, and it's like, oh shit, now it's an 8. What am I supposed to do? So you're trying to help his answer, and and it's like you're just chasing each other's answers around the room. And if you can notice that and just look at the process of what's happening, our ability to hold space for whatever is happening is crucial. Whether our client is shaking apart, whether they are showing absolutely nothing, all along that continuum, it's like, all right, well, what's in the room?
Mm-hmm.
How am I doing? What am I noticing?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah. I wanted to add also to, now with this case, it's just such a good example. Can you really see how adaptive and how helpful the client's answer was for him back when he didn't have the resources, didn't have the safety, and shutting down the overwhelm of everything, chaos, whatever. He did not have the capacity to process all that. So shutting down was his only way to survive. So
Mhm.
part of the 5 C's of doing the answer, catch it, be more aware, and celebrate. You can like this. You can really, wow, you were so good at becoming small, shutting down, and it, of course, for a little kid, that helped tremendously. You didn't have an option. I, as we bring this appreciation into the preparation, the client can also become more aware and accepting to their own. Some other models we call defenses or
Yeah.
copings. They had to do what they had to do.
Mhm.
And it comes naturally. Oh, I wonder maybe if it gets close to pain, if your answer would come out to help, to try to contain or this, like, oh, that's not as bad or whatever way to help you. And if that happens, or just, oh, I wonder if that's what you had to do in the memory,
Mhm.
then they
Oh, I
go
love
right
that.
back to processing. Yeah, I had to do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Liz. I love that. Also love the allowing that appreciation brings in that acceptance. Just being able to really understand and appreciate brings that acceptance of that part, that answer.
I think the fact that the suds was showing higher suds in front of you, that's exactly what you were doing right. The client had the safety, had the space to allow that to come.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I feel more empowered. I feel I have more clarity. And also, I feel this motivation. I just want to be like a Linda and a Liz. I'm just like, someday I'll get there. I'm just this wisdom. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing your what you're noticing with me. Thank you. Erica, was there anything you wanted to add that you were noticing? Oh, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to echo what Liz said as they were talking about the answer, his answer showing up of him shutting down and going to the 3 and then going to the 8. It just I was just like thinking as I've learned that's the way for him, how he was starting to feel safe, and that was increasing the SUD. And I was just noticing, it's like I wanted to celebrate you, Clover. I was like, you created that safe space for this client to really be able to allow him to go towards the pain and feel safe enough to do that. So excellent work. Proud of you.
Thanks, Erica.
Hope I can grow up be like you one day.
We have the Mutual Admiration Society. It's good. So let's talk about assignments for your next meeting. How comfortable are you feeling with doing the answer, getting through those questions, summarizing? What's the level of comfort with that?
I'm feeling good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a question though, that's coming up for me. Is the arrows. Do we need to do that, or is that just something for our reference?
The arrows are not a part of the protocol
Okay.
specifically. They are a part of history taking and preparation.
Okay.
So sometimes there can be aha moments for you and the client when you discuss the arrows and you look at the strengths of what is really developed and what might be less developed.
Okay.
And so, I think you use your clinical judgment.
Okay.
Um, Sometimes we want to, rush through preparation. Like for myself, I don't use the bubble sheet. It never worked for me. To me, it was redundant to the root under the answer. So, you have to kind of figure out what really helps you prepare to understand your client's answer and what's going to
Okay.
show up. And also, part of the 5 C's is collaborating. So, when doing the arrows work, sometimes there's a collaboration with the client. Oh, yeah, I can be very firm, but sometimes I struggle to be flexible, and my spouse or my partner brings that up. And it's like, okay, I wonder where you learned that.
Okay.
I wonder how it's been helpful or how was it adaptive for you to really have those boundaries. Let's just
Okay.
appreciate that.
Okay.
Let's just collaborate on how that was helpful.
Okay. I like that.
So I think for your next assignment, um, let's go to the root under the answer
Okay.
and get all of the targets. Now, you both sent me the same video. So um, let's clarify that Clover, you will record your video, and
Okay.
Erica, you will record your video.
Okay.
So that each of you can have a video up to 45, 50 minutes. Because as we're doing more of the work in phases 4 through 7, that'll be helpful, 3 through 7,
Okay.
and even
Okay.
8.
Okay.
So for the next assignment, I'll have each of you do a video of doing the root under the answer all the way down to getting the targets to the touchstone, and then hopefully having enough time to go right into phase 3 with the touchstone memory and getting as far as you can.
Okay.
So we'll go to the root to go to phase 3.
Yeah, the root all the way down to the earliest memory.
Okay.
And then if you have time to go take that
Okay.
and start that earliest memory with phase 3.
Okay.
If you don't have time, to make sure you do a resource. Always check to do a resource at the finishing a session to make sure that your client feels that they have some sense of, kind of bringing things back together before they have to go back out to their day.
Okay. I had an encounter with an acquaintance, I guess you'd say, and they said that they did EMDR and they loved it. And they said, however, it depended on the therapist. She's like, the first person I went to did not do a resource afterwards. And then the other one did. And he was like, it was night and day. So that was good for me to hear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, we're going to need to finish up. So let's do that. Prepare your case consult with the fillable form and try to get your transcript.
Okay.
And then those things come to Liz and I a few days before we meet. Okay?
Awesome.
All right, great work, everybody. Really, really nice. Appreciate it. We will meet again in July.
Okay.
Okay,
Is
So
that
is it
July 11th?
11th?
Just to make sure.
let's take a look. I think we are back on our regular schedule of the second
Okay.
Monday. And that is July. How come I don't have that in my schedule?
July 11th.
So our time is the second Monday, and is it 8 to 10? Yeah.
Yeah.
8 to 10 Arizona time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, that is it. Sounds good. I will see you next month.
Okay,
Okay,
wonderful.
thank you.
Okay.
Nice
Thank
seeing
you.
you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.